you ready to step into a hidden world, where darkness overshadows even the slightest glimmer of hope? Imagine a life where every trace of optimism is crushed and each day is a brutal fight for survival. This is the harsh reality that thousands of women in North Korea's military are forced to endure. Beneath the quiet surface of a tightly controlled nation lies a series of chilling and heartbreaking stories of abuse, coercion, and unimaginable cruelty. Here, these women don't just face strict military discipline, they are trapped in a relentless cycle of mistreatment and tragedy. Some are forcibly assigned to pleasure squads, required to serve the country's leaders day and night. Many endure severe physical and emotional abuse, and when they fall pregnant, they are pressured into extreme measures to terminate the pregnancy. They not only lose their freedom, but their dignity, living in conditions of extreme deprivation, from ice-cold baths and inadequate food to a lack of basic hygiene products. Join me as we pull back the curtain on this dark world to reveal the terrifying reality these women face, where their voices are silenced, waiting to be heard. Number 12. Constant abuse. Abuse is an everyday part of life for women in North Korea's military, a dark truth hidden behind a veil of silence and fear. These women endure not only cruel discipline but also a constant barrage of suffering, threatened and manipulated into staying quiet. There are countless stories of officers abusing their power to control and mistreat female soldiers under the guise of health checks, using their positions to cover up their cruelty. These women understand the harsh reality: if they speak out, their futures will be destroyed. Any chance of joining the Workers' Party of Korea or even having a chance at a better life would vanish. And if they are faced with an unwanted pregnancy due to abuse, they are left with few options. Some resort to dangerous methods, like tightening their belts, taking harmful substances, or even attempting extreme physical actions to escape their circumstances. While the perpetrators go unpunished, the victims remain trapped in the shadows. No justice, no protection. These women have to live with this daily torment, knowing their abusers are never held accountable. How much longer will this nightmare continue? Share your thoughts on this heartbreaking reality. Number 11. The dark secret of North Korea's pleasure squads. Hidden in the shadows of a tightly controlled society, the pleasure squads are one of the most disturbing and controversial secrets that women in North Korea's military must face. Originating under Kim Il-sung, the grandfather of Kim Jong-un, these squads represent the extreme power and brutal control exerted by the regime over the bodies and lives of thousands of women. After Kim Jong-il's death, the squad was temporarily dissolved, but in 2015, Kim Jong-un revived it, plunging thousands of women back into a cycle of submission and suffering. The squad has become a grim symbol of the regime's manipulation and power. The existence of these squads was not by chance. They served the specific purposes of the leader and top officials, functioning as a covert expression of power understood only by those involved. The squads were divided into 3 groups, each with its own strange and secretive tasks. The first group was responsible for personal service to high-ranking officials, the second group provided massage services, and the third group was trained to perform music and dance at events attended by the country's most powerful figures. Women selected for these squads had to meet strict physical criteria. With height restrictions, no one could be taller than 165 cm, a seemingly arbitrary rule that reflected the leader's personal insecurities. Living under the pressures of a harsh regime, the women in these squads had to sacrifice their personal lives to serve the state in ways they never wished for. They were confined to Kim Jong-un's private residence, always ready to be summoned by officials. Their service lasted for decades, before they were forced into arranged marriages with military officers without any say in the matter. When the squad was temporarily disbanded after Kim Jong-il's death, each woman received a compensation package equivalent to $44,000 USD, along with household items, as a parting gift to compensate for the years of exploitation. However, Kim Jong-un's decision to reinstate the squad in 2015 forced many women back into the old cycle, where they once again faced a life without voice or choice. Despite appearing strong and resilient, North Korean female soldiers endure unimaginable oppression from their government. They are tightly controlled, their loyalty demanded to the point that they become tools for high-ranking officials, while their personal rights and lives are pushed to the sidelines. Imagine putting yourself in the shoes of these women. Can you picture a life where every aspect is controlled by someone else? Is that the fate a woman deserves to endure? What do you think of those who have to live within these pleasure squads? Share your thoughts below. Number 10. Harsh living conditions. The terrifying reality behind the promises of perks and privileges in North Korea's military is one of extreme hardship and deprivation. While female soldiers are expected to receive higher rations and career prospects, they are often given meager meals that barely sustain them. During their 7 years of service, their daily meals consist of plain rice, a bit of cabbage, some pickled radish, and thin broth. This is all they endure. Eggs are a rare luxury, appearing only on holidays, and meat is reserved for Kim Jong-il's birthday, one of the few privileges in a world of scarcity. Beyond the food shortages, living conditions in the barracks are even harsher than one could imagine. They sleep on straw-filled mattresses that absorb moisture, making them damp and itchy every time they lie down. Their cramped, suffocating rooms lack electricity and essential amenities, turning daily life into an endless struggle with deprivation and inconvenience. Before 2015, due to a shortage of sanitary products, many women had to use makeshift, unsanitary alternatives, which only worsened their physical health. The difficulties don't stop in the barracks. Basic necessities like bathing become a daily ordeal. With freezing cold water from old pipes, bathing is a dreaded task, as they sometimes encounter unexpected visitors like snakes or frogs coming from the poorly maintained water systems. These living conditions not only degrade their physical well-being, but also reflect the dire lack of infrastructure and the regime's apathy toward the health and lives of these women. Even worse, in North Korea's military, female soldiers are always seen as secondary, with their needs consistently overlooked in favor of their male counterparts. The harsh, rigid hierarchy makes them feel suffocated, unable to speak out or find any way out. How can they survive such an oppressive existence? Number 9. College students forced into military service. What many North Korean students see as the path to a promising future through university can quickly take a harsh turn toward the military. Every year, on March 1st, as recruitment season begins, schools and universities across the country become bustling with activity. However, behind the glossy facade of these glorious events lies a dark reality: female graduates being drafted into the military, not out of choice, but due to an inescapable summons. A resident from North Hamgyong province in northeastern North Korea shared that the military recruitment office organizes meetings with all male students, urging them to join the military, but for female students the invitation leaves them no alternative. They are forced into service as elite members serving the nation. However, the bitter truth soon reveals itself beneath the glittering facade. Life in the military does not bring the honor they were promised, but instead leads to days of loneliness and overwhelming stress. Once these female students step into the military, they must say goodbye to their families and friends, give up even the smallest joys of life, and prepare themselves for a life of isolation, with no leave or reprieve. Is this forced service truly the honor they were led to believe? Does military life truly justify sacrificing the years of youth, joy, and dreams of these young women? Let's take a deeper look to understand the harsh truths that no one dares to speak about the fate of female students in North Korea. Number 8. Compulsory military service. Compulsory military service for women in North Korea is not just a military policy, it's a forced, life-or-death revolution that stems from the profound challenges the country faces. During the devastating famines of the 1990s, especially the famine from 1994 to 1998, which claimed millions of lives, North Korea's economy and population suffered greatly, leading to a severe shortage of manpower. With no other option, Kim Jong-un's regime had no choice but to conscript women into the military as an emergency measure to address the personnel deficit. However, joining the military is not a simple matter. These women must not only sign paperwork but also pass a series of rigorous physical and medical tests, requirements that seem incredibly harsh for those who are unprepared for military life. Since 2012, a new height regulation has been introduced, demanding that women must be at least 1.42 meters tall to meet the requirements. Yet, strangely, this rule is not always strictly enforced, leading many to believe that only women with special talents or powerful connections could bypass this mandatory service. Before 2015, some women, especially members of the Workers' Party of Korea, volunteered for military service, hoping to secure promised benefits such as career advancement and a better life. However, after 2015, the situation completely changed. As the regime tightened its grip on control and imposed mandatory military service on all women, no one wished to join the military voluntarily anymore. They were forced to endure a dark, brutal environment filled with harsh challenges that they could not resist. Number 7. No time for rest. In North Korean military life, rest is a luxury, almost non-existent. A female soldier's day starts early and ends when night falls, with no moments of relief or relaxation. Their duties go beyond routine military tasks. They also include heavy labor, such as cleaning, cooking, and participating in endless forced labor projects. It's not uncommon to see female soldiers carrying heavy stones on their backs, bent over digging the earth, or wielding farming tools under the scorching sun. They labor as hard as the men, with no discrimination, no sympathy. A shocking video aired on YouTube revealed these grueling scenes, showing North Korean women soldiers working amidst hunger and relentless exhaustion. Former soldier Sun A-jung shared that after completing a half-year of training, female soldiers don't get the rest they had hoped for. Instead, they are immediately thrown into grueling tasks with no time for rest or relaxation. For them, every day is the same, exhausting, stressful, and constantly proving their worth in this harsh environment. Even more telling, the idea of a break is almost a fantasy. Regular soldiers are never allowed leave unless they have exceptional achievements in training. The rest only goes to those with extraordinary performance. For the others, they are condemned to work non-stop, never able to take a break. Their lives become a series of tiring, unrelenting days, each moment tied to duties and responsibilities in service to the country. Number 6. Punishment, the nightmare of North Korean female soldiers. Life in the North Korean military for female soldiers is not just about physical challenges, but also a series of brutal, severe punishments that make the concept of fairness seem almost non-existent. Tasked with seemingly impossible duties, these female soldiers face strict disciplinary measures so harsh that even a tiny mistake could result in them being held accountable for the entire unit or even the whole division. Jennifer Kim, a former soldier, shared that even the smallest mistake would lead to harsh consequences for both her and her comrades. In this ruthless environment, where strictness leaves no room for forgiveness, these women are forced to live in constant anxiety, always fearful that even the slightest lapse in attention could result in terrifying punishment. To build resilience and endurance, the North Korean military puts them through long hours of exposure to the freezing cold, with almost no protection from the harsh weather. This biting cold is just one of the many trials they endure. Other toughness tests include running 100 laps while carrying full gear to build stamina, which is part of this inhumane training. But it doesn't stop there. The military also forces them to endure mental challenges, such as dipping their hands into ice-cold water or placing their hands on freezing metal surfaces, just to prove they can withstand any ordeal, no matter how painful. Can you imagine the brutality of such methods? Compared to armies in other countries, these disciplinary actions would surely shock and disturb many. Life in the North Korean military, especially for women, is not just a physical trial, but an ordeal that leaves deep emotional scars with injuries that are not easily healed. Number 5. The fear of not joining the party. In the closed and harsh society of North Korea, there is an ever-present fear that weighs down on every step of a female soldier's life, the fear of not being able to join the Workers' Party, more than just a party card. To show respect and personal power, becoming a party member is, for them, a ticket out of poverty, a key to opportunities they otherwise might never reach. But the truth is, the price for this honor is not easy to pay, and not everyone can achieve it. For these female soldiers, the desire to join the party is no ordinary ambition. Most of them come from poor families, where basic needs like food and clothing are constant burdens. For them, joining the party is the only way to change their fate, to gain respect and recognition in society. However, the road to this achievement is not paved with roses. Despite giving everything, not everyone receives the coveted party membership. There are stories of women who spent 7 years diligently serving in the military, their only hope being to join the party, but even that dream remained out of reach for many. They made relentless efforts, from repainting classrooms for their units to supplying materials for military projects, but it seemed that all of this still wasn't enough. One heartbreaking story comes from a family in North Pyongyang, where a mother shared the struggles of her daughter. Despite contributing money and supplies to the military, the girl could not earn the approval needed to join the party. The disappointment and pain weighed heavily on her, as she not only felt failure within herself but also shame towards her family and community. Another chilling story from South Hwanghae province tells of a father who spent a huge sum to help his daughter join the party. Now, he feels crazy when thinking about the price he paid, if his daughter returns without a party card. People will think she lacks ability or is even incompetent in the eyes of the community. This fear does not only burden the girl but also casts a shadow over the family's honor and reputation. The society forces them to measure every value with a party card, and the price for it is so high that many cannot bear it. Number 4. Arranged marriages. After completing their mandatory military service, female soldiers in North Korea face another grim reality that many are unaware of: state-arranged marriages. This is not a personal choice but a social obligation they must follow. The partners chosen for them are often men selected by the state, those with unwavering loyalty to the regime, or simply those whom the state deems need a wife. Marriage for these female soldiers is not a romantic affair, as many might imagine. It is a purposeful arrangement with a clear goal to maintain loyalty to the regime and continue to reinforce the patriarchal values deeply ingrained in North Korean society. Despite having sacrificed and served in the military, these women have no right to choose their own partners. They cannot refuse or object to any of the state's decisions. In these weddings, there is no room for private emotion. The bride and groom, after donning traditional attire, will offer flowers at the statues of the country's leaders, Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, the supreme symbols of the nation. The very next day, they return to their duties, continuing to serve the state's ideals, with no time to truly get to know each other. The marriage between these strangers is not connected by love, but by a dictatorship where personal emotions are overshadowed by absolute obedience. Imagine a life like this: personal freedom stripped away, marriage not a choice but a command. This is what North Korean female soldiers face, where love, freedom, and the right to choose are taken away for the sake of national ideology. These stories make you think deeply about the extent of oppression that forces a person to lose control over their own happiness. Number 3. The grueling daily work. Have you ever wondered about the lives of women in the North Korean military? A world with no room for weakness, where perseverance and sacrifice become synonymous with daily life. Unlike what you might imagine, their lives are not only confined to intense military training, but also involve grueling labor that no one can escape. From vast fields where female soldiers must plow and reclaim land, to hauling firewood and carrying heavy stones on their backs, they do it all without a single complaint. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. They are not just soldiers, they also bear responsibilities that society, especially men, never have to deal with. After a long day of hard labor, they have no time to rest or relax. Household duties, preparing meals, maintaining cleanliness for the entire unit fall entirely on the shoulders of the female soldiers. There is no choice, they must do everything without a word of complaint. A life with no rest, no peaceful moment. What makes their lives even harsher and more brutal are the terrible living conditions and extreme shortages. They must share cramped living quarters with around 24 others, where each bunk is only big enough for one person and comes with a tiny drawer. Every space, every corner of the room must display images of the great leaders Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, and recently Kim Jong-un, serving as a constant reminder of whom they must serve. There is no privacy, no freedom, everything is dictated by orders and the regime. But that's not all. Reports from reliable sources indicate that malnutrition is a widespread issue. A shortage of food and basic living supplies has become an everyday reality. While they are expected to take on double duty both as soldiers and caregivers, any recognition or acknowledgement for their efforts is almost non-existent. They work tirelessly, yet their sacrifices seem to never be properly appreciated. Number 2. No contact, absolute isolation. Imagine you are a female soldier in North Korea, and for 7 long years of service you must comply with an unyielding system of strict rules with no way out. You are completely prohibited from any contact with the outside world. No talking to civilians, no greetings, no simple conversations, and no chance to meet friends or family. All you can do is live in a separate world where all social connections are severed. Leave? Don't even dream about it. During these years, the concept of rest is nothing but a fairy tale. You cannot visit your family, you cannot embrace your loved ones after exhausting training sessions. And when homesickness overwhelms you, the only way to express your feelings is through handwritten letters, the only outlet allowed, but even this is tightly controlled. But be careful. If you cross the boundaries of these strict rules, the punishment won't just be a warning. You could be kicked out of the military immediately, and the scariest part is that the form of punishment may be carried out in secrecy, leaving you never knowing what will happen next. Though life in the military offers certain privileges, such as an easier path to employment after discharge, the price you must pay is unimaginable sacrifice. Among female soldiers, only those in the art troops are afforded lighter duties and better meals, as they are favored by leader Kim Jong-il and senior officials for their artistic talents. However, this privilege is reserved for a small group. The majority of female soldiers must struggle in harsh conditions, without any special treatment. So could it be that life in the North Korean military is not just a battle against external enemies, but also a fight against isolation and relentless hardship with no escape? Think about it. Could you endure such isolation for 7 long years without a single moment of contact with the outside world? Is their sacrifice worth it? And the mysteries behind the terrifying punishments will leave you with much to reflect on. Number 1. Strict beauty standards control over every detail. Imagine being a woman living in North Korea, where every aspect of your life is closely monitored. Even your appearance cannot escape the regime's control. Did you know that nail polish, skin creams, and other beauty products have to be inspected? This is not just a minor regulation, it's a part of the regime's rigid and conservative ideology. This level of control began after World War II, when North Korea and South Korea became politically and culturally divided, and beauty products like red lipstick were considered too bold, too flashy, and entirely incompatible with socialist ideals. Imagine this: a bold lipstick color, something many women around the world see as a symbol of freedom and individuality, is banned simply because it doesn't align with the harsh values of the regime. But that's not all. Despite these strict rules, North Korean women don't easily submit. The black market for cosmetics thrives, where beauty products are smuggled in secretly, an act not just against the law but also a symbol of silent resistance by women against the beauty standards imposed by the government. However, not everyone can participate in this beauty revolution. The North Korean government has established state-run cosmetics companies to maintain absolute control over the beauty industry, ensuring that every product from skin creams to lipstick stays within the boundaries they've set. So we've just uncovered a terrifying aspect of life for women in North Korea, where endurance, hardship, and immense pressure are commonplace. These female soldiers face challenges so severe that not many can even imagine them. Are you shocked and surprised by what they have to endure? Please share your thoughts in the comments and continue this journey of uncovering the hidden truths with us. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss the unique and fascinating videos we have coming up. See you in our next exploration.